Therefore, the best thing is, after all, to get relief from all material activities and engage oneself completely in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. In the case of the absence of such an opportunity, one should try to engage in the service of the Lord, everything for which one has specific attraction. And that is the way of peace and prosperity. The word samshuchitam in this stanza is also significant. One should not think for a moment that the realization of Narada was childish imagination only. It is not like that. It is so realized by the expert and erudite scholars. That is the real import of the word samsuchitam. So the text again. Etat samsuchitam brahman tapatraya chikisitam hadishre bhagavati karma brahmani bhavitam. O Brahmana Vyasadeva, it is decided by the learned that the best remedial measure for removing all troubles and miseries is to dedicate one's activities to the service of the Supreme Lord, Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. Namo Vishnu Graya Krishna Prasthaya Budaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Pranamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paschyatyade Siddharane. As mentioned here, it is said that everyone is experiencing material misery, and that the whole attempt of existence for everyone is to get free from misery. There may be immediate miseries, adi dayaga, adi bodhika, adi kleshika, adi bodhika, well, we can begin with adhyatmika. Miseries pertaining to the body, because like everyone is sitting here, we have some people leaning against the wall or leaning because our spines can't even support it. But to speak of getting support from the Absolute, we can't even get support from our own spine. And as soon as we lean over, our stomach is crunched, or everything is crunched, and we're feeling crunched. And if we sit up, then we feel pain from our back. We feel pain in the back. So we're going between back and forth like a yo-yo, feeling discomfort wherever we are. And then the weather, one day it's summer here, one day it's winter, one day it's fall, one day all the seasons are there. And as far as other living entity, in this Kali Yuga, everyone more or less is paranoid. If someone is against them, because so many people are against them. It's not exactly paranoid, it's reality. Mosquitoes are against us. People from other countries are against us. People from other cities are against us. Family members are against us. Neighbors are against us. So in that way, just those are the immediate miseries. What to speak of old age, disease, and then death, which are actually the main problems. We think, all right, I'll tolerate because I can do some enjoyment. On Saturday we have popcorn, so I can tolerate everything. But ultimately, we can't stay here. Only in the uniform of life can we eat popcorn. If you become a cockroach, you won't be attracted at all to popcorn. Saturday feast won't, even if you're there for the Saturday feast, you won't be able to eat it. And old age, no one likes old age, because if we have miseries in our body at the beginning, and then when we get older, it's not that there's more comfort, there's less comfort. And finally there's disease. Everyone feels lack of ease, which is another way of saying dis-ease. And then ultimately we have to take birth again. Where are we going to go after leaving this body? Who could actually say? Are we going to the heavenly planets? Are we going to back to Zagreb? Are we going to the spiritual world? Where are we going? We don't even know where we are now, right now, actually. We have some conception. I'm in Croatia, I'm in Zagreb. But from the absolute point of view, we're just hallucinating. We're hallucinating with this body, we're hallucinating that there's such a reality called Croatia. 100 years ago, there wasn't a Croatia. And 100 years from now, there probably won't be a Croatia either. The same land will be there. A whole different set of people will be there. But it won't be Croatia anymore. So why should we consider it's Croatia now? It's just a mental construct. Just like I'm this body, it's just a mental construct. We don't even know what the body is. We don't know what it looks like inside. We don't know how it works. We know not hardly anything about it. We can't even see clearly in the mirror. We can't even see the back of our head. And yet we're identifying ourselves with this gross and subtle body. And then at the end of this body, we get another one. We don't know what kind of body we're going to get, spiritual, material, where we're going to be. And now I may be in Croatia. Tomorrow I could be one of Chandra's associates in the moon, for all I know. I could become a loony. Lunatic. Yes. So we're identifying, misidentifying. And these are miseries, because no one wants to leave their body. We actually we're in love with our body. We think it's a very nice body. And now that we're in love with the body, we think other people should love it also and appreciate it. So this gross body, which is actually not very attractive, we're in love with it. And therefore we don't want to leave it. We're investing all our love and energy in its development. So, how to get out of the miseries of material existence? One has to get out of this material misidentification. Otherwise it's not possible. And although everyone would like a nice, peaceful, happy life, that may not be possible either. Or it would only be possible only by the mercy of Krishna, as Prabhupada mentions in Prahladananda verse, Valasyaneha Sharanam Pitro Nashingha Nartasya Chagadam Udanvado Majatal Now Tat Ihanda Shestas Padvido Tanubritam Tat Upekshatanam. Valasya means of the child. Valasya neha sharanam. So the child has to take shelter of the Pitara. There used to be two parents in the family in olden times. So the child would have to take shelter of both parents. And sometimes, if one is sick, one would take shelter of medicine, one would take shelter of a good doctor. And if you're in a boat on the water, you take shelter of the boat. Hardly anyone who's in the Atlantic Ocean jumps into the ocean, says, in the middle of the ocean, see you later, I'm going to swim to the shore. Most sane people have some intelligence. I must take shelter of the boat. But even when we take shelter of the parents, we take shelter of the doctor and the medicine, we take shelter of the boat. They're not always very good shelters. The boat may sink in the ocean, the medicine may not be effective, the child may succumb to death due to disease or other factors. And therefore, simply by having parents or a doctor or a medicine or a boat is not security that we're going to survive. Although we think like that, why do we have this building? Because we think, because it'll make me secure, or more secure than if I was living outside. Why do we have a boat? Because we think the boat is more security than trying to swim across the ocean. And to some extent, it's relatively maybe secure, but there's no absolute security in this world. Howard Hughes multi-billionaire, he built himself a room where no germ can enter into the room. Everything was hermetically sealed. All his food went through an entrance that was more or less radiated with ultraviolet rays to kill all bacteria. He was hoping that he wouldn't be killed by his idea of some germ that sneak into the room and kill it. But he was wrong. He died anyhow. So even when we have billions of dollars, there's no protection from death, or old age, or disease, or having to take birth again. It's not that I collected $5 billion, the Yamadutas took me away, but I paid them all. They just couldn't. It was just too much money for them to pass up. They assured that they were going to share at least half of the Amarat. No, there's no protection, and therefore it is up to Krishna. What is our duration of life? Mrityu Sarva Harasthaham. Krishna's time, he's taking everyone's duration of life away. And it's imperceptible in one sense, but the result of time is maybe imperceptible, but the results of time are perceived by everyone. And no matter what our construct, whatever our beliefs are, everyone will eventually succumb to death by the influence of time. And even if Krishna allows us to live for some days, even if we survive, everyone dies anyhow. Even Brahma dies. He lives for 311 trillion, 40 billion years, which is, compared to us, is a fabulous duration of life. But even then he dies anyhow. There have been so many Brahmas of come and gone who thought they were going to live forever, but they were wrong. Like one king called all the astrologers in his kingdom to find out who was a qualified astrologer. And he only asked them one question: how long will you have to live? So they one after another, the astrologers did their charts. He gave the king the answer: I'll live for another 20 years. And the king said, you're not a good astrologer, you're bogus. And he had him taken outside and executed. So all the astrologers proved to be bogus in his kingdom, and gradually they were all being eliminated. Finally, one astrologer came to the king, and the king said, how long do you have to live? He did his calculations, said it's up to the king. So the king said, you're a bona fide astrologer. So no one can guarantee. What's that?
I didn't hear what the last astrologer said.
It's up to the king.
He said it's up to the king. It's the king's decision how long they will live.
Astrologer rekao, to ovisi o kralju koliko će duže, to ne govorim.
Therefore, Balasyaneha Sharanam Pitaro Nrsimha Nartasya Jagadam Udanvadam Majatalanam Tat Trividam Yahanja Shestas Twadvido Tanuvitam Put Upekshananam. If Krishna neglects one, then one will certainly won't be able to survive. And even if Krishna takes care of one for some time, 311 trillion years, Brahma seems an immeasurable time for us, but it goes just a flash of lightning in the sky. It's so quick for Brahma. He's here today, gone tomorrow. He only lives for the exhalation of Mahavishnu. So in the day of Mahavishnu, how many Brahmas are coming and going? But here it says that we want to come to associate with Krishna and therefore get free from illusion. Then we have to dovetail activities in the service of Krishna. By hearing about Krishna, we can actually associate with Krishna directly. Because there's no difference between Krishna's name and hearing about Krishna's forms and qualities and pastimes. But the problem is that we have no taste for hearing. Why don't we have any taste for hearing? Because we can hear. Because we're not submissive to the sound vibration. And why are we not submissive? Because we're being directed by the illusory energy. We're submissive, but we're submissive to the illusory energy. Being submissive to the illusory energy means not being submissive to Krishna. Krishna says, Sarva Dharma Prachaja, Mame Kam Sharanam Vraja, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo, Mokshisyami Masusha. He says, give up all your anxieties, give up all these different other paths of religion, these other activities, and follow my direction. If we don't do that, then we're going against Krishna. And because we're going against Krishna, therefore our mind is being taken away, our intelligence is being taken away by the illusory energy. And because our intelligence is taken away by the illusory energy, when we hear about Krishna, we can't hear. Because we have no intelligence. It takes spiritual intelligence to be able to hear, submissive, to actually hear in such a way as though we directly experience Krishna simply by the process of hearing. Therefore, one has to take to a process by which one can learn how to hear. And that's called devotional service. Without performing devotional service, no one will gain the ability to hear. About Krishna, at least. Because people are attracted to hear so many things. But to hear about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it is difficult for the conditioned soul because they think Krishna is my enemy. He is my competitor. He's the one who's put me in this situation. He's the cause of my problems. And now I have to glorify him, and I have to hear others glorify him. This is an affront to my false ego. So because of my attachment to my false ego, my plans for material happiness in this world, it's all threatened by hearing about Krishna. So better to go to sleep, fall asleep during class, or if I'm on the street, someone offers me books, I'm not interested. It's not my thing. My thing is to go to hell. That's my thing. So, to hear means we have to engage in some service. But what service can we render? We have to utilize this present body. But as we were reading yesterday in the Bhagavad Gita class, that the verses Doshaya Tara Kulagana, Varna Sankara Karaka. Varna Sankara. Varna means what should be our occupational duty. But Sankara means it's unknown. We're lucky if we know who our actual parents are. But to speak of anything else about them. Generally, Kalo Sudra Sambhava, if one is fortunate, one is born as a Shudra. And then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, by modern education, one becomes less than an animal. Proud animal. Proud French poodle. Poodle, I am. Respect. Look at my tail. How cute. Parlez français? So everyone is proud like a peacock or a French poodle. But one has no qualifications. One doesn't know what to do with this body, at least not to get liberation. People don't even have the idea that I'm supposed to become liberated from the material concept of life. But we meet people on the street today. How many people are going shop to shop looking for something to liberate them from the material concept of life? How many people even have any idea that there's a difference between themselves and their body or their mind? But to speak considering what to do on that basis. But that's the purpose of life. We are spiritual souls. We are what makes this body appear to be alive, because we are the consciousness from the body, and we want to be happy. But we're not going to become happy simply by trying to enjoy the body. We may feel ourselves to be relatively more happy now, but wait till we're 90 years old if we make it that long. See how happy we are in the body. For every movement is a concert in the bones. Therefore, brought as suggested here, because we have no idea what this body is. but to speak of utilizing. And even if we thought we were Brahmins, what can we do as Brahmins? We can hardly chant Gayatri Brahma. We Brahmins were performing Vedic sacrifices. What sacrifice can we perform? Yes, we can build a little fire sacrifice and throw some grains in it. But what effect will it have? Will the demigods be impressed? Shower rain to us or a little fire sacrifice? Nothing will happen. Because we can't chant the mantras. We don't even know what's the proper way of constructing a Vedic sacrifice, official altar. But the chanting of the mantras is the essence. We can hardly chant Hare Krishna. Therefore, as far as actually being Brahmins or Kshatriyas, Surya Teja Jiti Daksha Yude Chapi Palayana Dhanam Ishvara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Subhavaja. So who's the leader in society amongst us? Who's going to rule the kingdom? Protect people from lust? Vanquish demons in battle? We can hardly defend ourselves against a knife, but to speak of the weapons they have nowadays. As soon as there's a battle, we duck. So who's the big Kshatriya? Someone who knows karate? Are they Kshatriyas? And then as far as the Vaishyas go, who's protecting cows and tilling the land? Who's actually properly engaging in trade? The Vaishyas are all just manipulating electronically people's money to steal from them. That's the so-called Vaishya now. And instead of protecting the cows, they're the ones who are owning the slaughterhouses, growing genetically modified food to kill everyone. So-called Vaishyas. So there's no Vaishyas, there's no Kshatriyas, there's no Brahmins, there's no religion. There's only so-called economic development for sense gratification. Therefore, the conclusion is that instead of trying to figure out what is our varna or even our ashram, the best thing, well, of course we have to figure out our ashram, but as far as our varna, the best thing is to engage our activities in the service of the Sankirtan movement. Go to the essence of the Varnashram system. So, of course, when we go to the essence of the Varnashram system, because we have no clue what the actual Varnashram system really is, therefore, when we go to the essence, it's not that we're going to understand everything clearly all at once. We're like in a daze, practically speaking. We've been anesthetized by the illusory entity. So we go to the essence, that's going to require a little bit of faith. We were fully realized, and like Shukadeva Goswami, the essence would be revealed as soon as we heard it. But because we're in a dull state of material existence, mostly asleep, even when we so-called wake up. Therefore, we won't completely understand exactly what we're doing or what the philosophy is. But still, we follow. Therefore, we have some idea of being Brahminical, wanting to explain to people. Then we tell them about Krishna. How Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We try and convince them in some way. That way we'll eventually become convinced also. Eventually we'll be able to understand and accept Krishna as the Supreme. And by experience. Without the experience of Krishna, with our spiritual senses, how do we know what Krishna is? But we tell people about Krishna, that way we get a chance to hear also. And we have some inclination for managing, for organizing. Then we organize the war against Maya, the cultural revolution, the Sankirtan movement. So we help organize that with whatever tendency we have. And we have some ability to accumulate resources. We accumulate them and utilize them in the service of the Sankirtan movement. Then that way we'll become in contact with Krishna, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Panchatattva, with the six Goswamis, with our disciples' succession, like service to them, and then in their association, gradually we'll wake up. But the best thing probably right here, after all, is to hear and chant about Krishna. But who's gonna, if we don't, when we hear about Krishna, if we don't experience Krishna, we don't even understand what we're hearing about, we have no taste for it, who's going to hear and chant about Krishna all the time? No one's going to do it. We'll hear about Krishna, and then we'll think, oh, I wonder what it says in my email right now. Hare Krishna. Interesting. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. We have no taste for hearing chanting, but if we engage in the Sankirtan movement, and at the same time we hear and chant about Krishna, then gradually the taruchi, the taste for Krishna consciousness will actually develop. Then one day may come, or will come if we're sincerely practicing, that we'll actually have a taste for hearing and chanting. That when we hear about Krishna, we'll be experiencing him directly. When we chant about Krishna, we'll also experience him directly. Hearing and chanting will produce direct remembrance of Krishna. Then we'll always be in ecstasy. And we'll be perfect instruments in the hands of Krishna. But we have to practice. So it's sadhana bhakti, and gradually sadhana bhakti, as the heart becomes purified, as the realizations come, it turns into raganuga bhakti, and then one can actually experience what spiritual life is all about. And as that intensifies after some time, from ruchi to asakti to bhava to prema, and then beyond that, then we'll actually be living a factually spiritual life, rather than a combination of something spiritual and something material. And here it says, Etam samsushitam brahma. So this is given by a realized person. It's not simply this philosophy is not simply some mental construct, some philosophical speculation. They're actually learned and realized persons who have experienced Krishna consciousness by following this path. They're explaining it in the Bhagavatam. Some sushitam, those who are completely purified of all misconceptions. They've gotten free from the miseries of material life by worshipping the Supreme Lord in devotional service. And we do that, we'll also make progress too. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Maharaj, you said something that it's not important to know what is our varna, just to our activities, including the Sankirtan mission. However, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that we should do activities, we should do our activities. It's better to do our activities than the activities of another. If we do not know what is our varna, how can we do correct activities and correct activities include in Sankirtan?
Well, our varna presently is unknown. So therefore there's two types of swadharma. There's the swadharma in the varnashram system, when people actually know what their varna and ashram properly is. Then there's swadharma following the orders of Krishna coming into succession, spiritual swadharma. So we're engaged in spiritual swadharma for the most part, utilizing part of the varnashram system, especially presently for ashrams. So therefore, two parts, Sri Goswami said. We find out what our duty is from the line of disciple succession, how we're supposed to sacrifice for Krishna in this age, serve the Sankirtan movement, and we're supposed to learn how to do that with devotion. Therefore, Prabhupada set up the Hare Krishna movement, ISKCON, but an authority structure. And the idea is that we have to find out what the authorities want us to do, and then do it to serve the Sankirtan movement. If one doesn't want to do that, then he's lost. Yes.
Maharaj, we speak about pleasure. A very exalted person like Avanti Brahmana and Chitraketu say that everything comes from mind. Everything is illusion.
Not everything. Illusion, what do you mean by illusion?
Yes.
What do you mean by illusion?
When we practice Bhakti Yoga, we will come in this level.
At what level?
This level of Chitraketu, or level of...
Yeah, but it's illusion in what sense? It's illusion is that we think one thing's going on, but something else is going on. Something is going on. It's not that things don't exist, but our conception is illusory.
Yes. Yes.
So, yeah, of course, we're supposed to wake up.
Yes.
When we wake up, then we'll see how everything is being organized and directed by Krishna through his various energies. And that we ourselves are actually eternal souls. Yes.
Then,
Anything else? Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.